Have you ever read the story of Cain and Abel and been left with a nagging question? After Cain commits the first murder, he's cast out, goes to the land of Nod, and then he gets married and builds a city. But wait a minute. If Adam and Eve were the first two humans, and they only had Cain and Abel, where did Cain's wife come from? This is one of the Bible's most intriguing and often asked mysteries. And today, we're going to unravel it. Let's quickly recap the foundational story from Genesis. God creates Adam and Eve, the very first humans. They have two sons, Cain, a tiller of the ground, and Abel, a keeper of sheep. Both bring offerings to God, but God favors Abel's offering. This sparks a deep jealousy in Cain, leading to a tragic, pivotal moment in human history. Cain murders his brother, Abel. God confronts Cain, who initially denies his sin. As punishment, God curses Cain, making him a restless wanderer. But here's where it gets interesting. Cain expresses fear, saying, "Everyone who finds me will kill me." This statement immediately raises a red flag for many readers. Who is this everyone? If only Adam, Eve, and now Cain were left, who else could possibly be out there to harm him? God then places a protective mark on Cain, again, implying the existence of other people. And then, the ultimate twist. Cain goes to the land of Nod, and the Bible simply states, Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. He then builds a city named after his son. So, who was this mysterious woman? The most widely accepted and biblically supported theory is that Cain married one of his sisters, or a close female relative, an unnamed daughter of Adam and Eve. Now, before you recoil, let's look at Genesis 5:4. It clearly states that after Seth was born, Adam had other sons and daughters. The Bible, especially in its early chapters, isn't always concerned with listing every single descendant, particularly daughters, unless they play a direct role in the main narrative. In the earliest generations of humanity, intermarriage among close kin wasn't just acceptable, it was a biological necessity. God's command to Adam and Eve was to be fruitful and multiply. With only one family on Earth, there was no other option for humanity to continue. Genetic mutations, which are a concern with close-kin marriage today, would have been minimal or non-existent in the very first generations, as humanity was still in a state of genetic purity. The prohibitions against marrying close relatives, like those found in the Mosaic Law, came much later, thousands of years after Cain. Even later, we see examples like Abraham marrying his half-sister Sarah. While the canonical Bible doesn't name Cain's wife, other ancient texts do. One significant apocryphal text, the Book of Jubilees, offers a fascinating, albeit non-canonical perspective. The Book of Jubilees, which provides a more detailed account of Genesis, names Cain's wife as Awan. It also names Seth's wife as Azura. According to Jubilees, Awan was born in the third Jubilee, and Cain married her in the fourth. Her name is speculated to mean vice or power. Azura, on the other hand, is associated with the sky or lapis lazuli, symbolizing holiness, and her marriage to Seth is seen as a turning point for the righteous lineage. Some traditions even suggest Azura was first Abel's wife. These texts also shed light on the extraordinary lifespans of early patriarchs. Adam lived 930 years, Seth 912, and Methuselah a staggering 969 years. This long period allowed for significant population growth, making the existence of other daughters for Cain to marry even more plausible. Theories for these long lifespans include a more perfect early Earth environment, genetic purity, and divine timing. It's interesting to note that God later declared human days would be 120 years, and we see a significant decrease in lifespans after the flood. The story of Cain's wife, whether unnamed or identified as Awan, highlights a crucial theme in Genesis: the establishment of two distinct lineages. Cain's descendants are generally depicted as following a path of rebellion and wickedness, while Seth's lineage, through whom Noah and eventually Jesus would come, represents a path of reverence and righteousness. Ultimately, the Bible's primary purpose isn't to provide an exhaustive genealogical record or a scientific textbook. Its focus is on conveying essential divine messages of hope, salvation, and how to live in relationship with God. The details about Cain's wife, while fascinating to us, were likely less important to the original authors than the spiritual lessons embedded in the narrative. So, to answer the question of Cain's wife, the most consistent biblical explanation is that he married one of his unnamed sisters, or a close relative, a necessary practice in the earliest days of humanity. Apocryphal texts like the Book of Jubilees even give her a name, Awan. This mystery, far from being a plot hole, actually reinforces the incredible story of humanity's beginnings and the divine plan for propagation. What do you think about the mystery of Cain's wife? Do you have another theory? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into biblical mysteries, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe for more stories like this.